going to have like a sinking of the seafloor. And based on the rate at which we would be moving away from a hotspot, how high the seamount reached above sea level, and how intense the wave action, that would kind of give a timeline of how long it took to get to the current depth it's at.
Can you hear me?
And I don't think that we have enough information to say how long it probably took to get to the depth we're at now, but certainly a long time. And yeah.
So the predominant rate of change isn't from erosion, but from effectively the seafloor having
I'm going to turn off your porch light because otherwise it kind of throws off the...
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
We go without the porch light.
That's a good point.
Maybe we'll just wait 1 second for them to get set up.
All right, Marley, go ahead and try that. All right.
Oh, there's a whip coral behind you.
All right, we're gonna go black. This is intentional. Everything's fine. All right.
Jess, while we hang out here, I am going to check the starboard bio box.
Sure.
See if what we did had any impact. Definitely had an impact.
I'd say so.
Yeah, we need to do that one face there, though. I don't know how we didn't do that one. Oh, because it's gray.
Because it's gray.
Yeah, but that needs it too. I think if we do that, we'll be in pretty good business.
Yeah, we'll be pretty happy then. Marley, you good? Yep.
All right, I'm going to rack that back in. Actually, on a transit, we might go ahead and pull out those dividers and just like tape everything really nicely.
Make some nice handwriting in there.
And if you're clear, I'll do the same for the tool tray to make sure that everything looks good there.
Sure thing.
Data, are you happy with our new labels? Look at that.
I like it. They're
Lambda
beautiful.
and Omega.
I
and
know.
then, wait for it, it gets better.
Dun, dun.
Oh,
Nice.
Those are real
That's
nice.
so cute.
That is cute.
I like it. You know what? The Lambda looks like a little dino, like eating a leaf or something.
The Blobda. So the ship took a roll. I was using a paint pen. We ended up with a Blobda.
And it looks like there's a little fish off to the right.
Yeah.
Oh, there is
to the left of Omega.
Yeah, that was just a scratch.
Omega's like a little cave.
The fish is on its way to or from the cave.
Yeah.
Looks like away from the cave.
Yeah.
What?
You're
I
on
like
dead
it.
rock now. You good?
Yeah, I am.
I want to just jog in and out the auto XY. It works. Awesome.
All right, I am 135 approximately.
Roger. All right, so what's our bearing to that waypoint?
So our bearing is 095, and it's about 1.1 kilometers away. Are you ready for a ship
Megan,
move?
will you let us know when you see rocks that we should grab? Okay.
Yeah, let's just do those.
095.
Okay.
095, yeah.
I'm going to do
Yeah.
You want to start with 30?
Or 30 is fine.
We'll just dial them in 30 at time.
Great.
All right, ready to climb a mountain, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like it disconnected me.
Megan, I have a question.
Yes.
How does one, is it possible to drill into these features?
The ones that we're looking at right now?
Or like something similar, like an underwater volcano? Like how do you take internal basalt samples?
Like a core sample
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, you would use like a piston core.
Oh, you can piston core these?
Maybe.
Really?
I'm not sure.
I don't know about that.
What's a piston core?
Piston core is like a really long core that you send from off the side of a ship, essentially. So it's kind of like it has
What was
a
our
trigger, and so you kind of shoot it down, and it goes. It's essentially taken by gravity, and then it will plummet into whatever the surface is that it hits, and take a core that can be like 16 meters long.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so you use them a lot for like getting like subsea floor samples, or if you want to age date something, so we'll use them on cold water coral mounds where the whole mound is made up of coral skeleton, and you can age date the skeleton that's at the bottom of the mound, or as deep as you can get your piston core. But sometimes if it's really hard, the liner, which is made out of plastic, will shatter.
Yeah.
And your core is disrupted, so that's not helpful.
Yeah, so you definitely can drill in basalt. It's a rotary core though, sorry, not a piston core. It's a different process of coring. I think I can't remember the exact
Actually pretty floaty.
maximum depth you could go into to it, but
pick up
it is
rocks.
something pretty impressive considering how hard basalt is.
Yeah. I was just curious if it's something that has to be like essentially operated from the ship.
Yeah, I think it is. I've never been on a coring expedition or drilling.
I mean, what information would you really get from a basalt core sample, though?
That's a bummer.
You could study seafloor age and
I guess if it had been erupting over a long period of time.
yeah, definitely, and also spreading rates and things like that. I think are studied through cores as well.
I don't know why I can't clear this.
I love basalt.
So the dogs.
What?
Why do you love basalt?
I don't know. It's just a great rock. So like, there's so much variation in it. It's basically little chunks of iron, but sometimes it can be different colors of iron depending on the mineral composition of it. You know, you can get kind of fluffier basalt. You know, not too fluffy because then you're moving into calling it a different kind of rock, like pumice or what is it, tephra, right? But like, I don't know, like it's just great. It smooths out so nicely.
It does smooth out nicely.
So some of the places that I've lived and worked in my life in the Southwest, where there was a lot of like ancient Puebloan cultures that were doing corn-based agriculture about 1,000 years ago. It's also a volcanic area, and so usually their grinding stones would be out of basalt. And so you'd be hiking, and then you'd find this giant basalt chunk that was like a corn grinding surface.
Oh, cool.
And so you'd find the manos and the metates, and those were usually made out of basalt, and they would just be like glass where they had been like used over time. I don't know, it's got a lot of character.
Are a lot of arrowheads made out of basalt as well?
No, those would be out of chert or silica, or a chert or obsidian rather.
Yeah.
Often intrusions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting, if you find them out of silica, it's kind of cool because then you can kind of track trade routes with it because you can source like where that silica sample came from in the volcanic landscape.
Oh. I grew up in Austin, Texas. I used to find arrowheads in my backyard.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Wow,
awesome.
that's cool.
And lots of fossils. Seashells and stuff.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it all used to be underwater.
Yeah. I mean, didn't it all?
I mean, yeah.
That's one of my favorite geologic facts, that the summit of Mount Everest is made of marine limestone.
Oh, that is cool.
It's just like, yeah. It all started in the ocean.
Yeah, basalt just takes so many forms too. Like it can be smooth, like just depending on the environment around, like when it erupted.
Can we, on the topic of that, can we get a zoom on some of these rocks at some point?
Sure
I
thing.
just want to see some textures.
Any rock in particular, particularly
Maybe
fancy?
those like larger ones to the upper left.
Upper left, Roger. All right, Marley, go ahead and zoom on in there, please. That's great. So that's a little coral on it for you there, Alexis.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
tiny.
hey.
Nice.
Is that,
I
what would
don't
you call
know.
those botryoidal
Yeah, definitely.
surfaces there?
Absolutely.
Oh, there's something kind of purpley in the corner there
Yeah, I wonder what that
at the top.
little pink thing is.
Lots of grapes.
Yeah. Have we said what botryoidal means yet on this dive?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Would you like to share with the world?
I mean, I think our resident underwater geologist should do.
What we're looking at here is a bunch of grapes. Deep sea grapes
That's fair.
that are very hard.
I wonder what the little... Oh, I think it's a crab
Oh, it is.
or
It
a
is
shrimp or
it's,
something.
It's some crustacean that's
Yeah.
poking its head out. Being like, oh, no, I'm going to go
What are you
back
guys
down
looking
here.
at? Sorry.
It's like, that's a bigger crustacean. Those look like little sponges, maybe? Those little, like, vase-like.
Did you want to look at that sponge? Or are you guys...
No, I think we're... Are you good, Megan?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good.
We can come out.
I'm happy.
All right, go ahead and come forward there. Let me set up my camera. Got up.
I feel like this is the most distinctively like botryoidal
Yeah.
crust that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
To me, to my mind.
I think there's been a couple of spots where we've seen something similar, but
Yeah.
it's more that the morphology of the
Coming up.
rocks that it was
Gotcha.
forming on was a little bit different. I think
Mm.
this one is like a lot of little pieces and maybe
Okay.
highlighting it. But also the sediment really highlights
Yeah.
the textures.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were seeing some pretty significant botryoidal textures with less sediment, and it was less obvious. I think at some point around here we should collect a rock.
Okay.
Sure. Let us know
Um,
when and where.
Don't have
But-
to tell just twice.
let's just wait a little bit to somewhere that there's a little bit less sediment cover, maybe.
Looks like
Sure
we have
thing.
a coral.
First coral of the dive.
First coral.
Oh, there's one in the starboard biobox camera when you first sat down. There was
Oh.
like a 4 or 5 foot whip coral.
That's a good point, yeah.
I didn't even think about the
Think
best
too
thing
heavy
about
now.
basalt, which is that you can get magnetic alignments from the iron in basalt from when it was
Oh, right.
extruding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Indeed.
so cool.
And that's the best thing about basalt for you.
I mean, no, it's not. There's so many best
stock
things.
sponge.
There's so many
It's-
best things.
It's one of
You
my
can't
favorite
categorize.
things. Yeah. Like, let me count the ways, basalt.
All right, Marley. Go ahead and
Oh,
start
is
your
that,
fish in there.
is that a sponge? on the
Yeah.
left too?
Little umbrella.
It's a little shrimpy.
That's good there, Marley. Excuse me, that's good, Marley.
Little unstalked bamboo coral. Could we just get the whole coral in the frame? Thank you.
Good, come wide, Marley.
You're still a little light, aren't you?
Yeah, I need to fix my Z-bias again. Thought I was too heavy, but now I feel too light.
Got a little stocked sponge.
So
Marley, go ahead and push on in there a bit, please.
it would be, I think, a good spot around here. These flows look more in
Sorry,
place.
Sorry, Megan, I can't really hear you.
Oh, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come wide, Marley.
I think this would be a good area to get a rock sample.
Roger. Marley, go ahead and come wide, please. Okay.
All right, Ben, let's not do another ship move.
Yeah, I'll tell them to hold right now anyways.
Yeah. You tell them.
How far into that move were they?
They were almost done.
Okay.
Probably 25 minutes. If you guys
Yeah.
are okay with it, I want to reset NavG because I can't clear the USBL fixes.
That's fine.
Okay.
Megan, do you mind if I go upslope a little bit? Try where the ship move. I
Yeah,
think
that's
will
all
be,
right.
and
Yeah.
we get to rock up there.
Sure.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
What's this?
Coming up.
It's cool to imagine like this
Doing
being
another
a flowing lava at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
I love imagining that.
Yep.
Roger.
Being on Hawaii during this last eruption was so cool because it's the first time I'd seen a lot of like footage of live eruptions.
Yeah.
And so much of like the volcanic landscape that I've ever been around is, you know, really, really old. Like it's 1,000 years old. And it really changed how I viewed those landscapes that I had been in before. Because I
Yeah.
was looking at them trying to imagine what would it look like to form this way? Like what are the processes that made it look like this?
Yeah.
And I had thoughts about what that would look like, but it wasn't until I was watching the recent eruption on the Big Island of Hawaii that you really sort of think, oh wow, like that's literally how it happened. It was amazing. It was so cool to watch.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
We also were exploring the ocean entry point last year of the fresh lava flows from Hawaii. That was pretty neat.
Megan, it's starting to flatten out. Or is one of these rocks still?
Yeah, I would say as soon as possible, just to get something representative of the deeper depth. So
Sure.
yeah, we're looking for something that's very grapey, very botryoidal-y, and as in place as possible looking. So not quite like all those little tiny cobble bits, but closer to something more
Slightly more to the
in
right.
place.
Or do you want to look more left?
I was
There's that
thinking
big
more left
triangle
was
one.
looking at, but
Triangle.
yeah, I'm open. I can't totally
Sure
tell.
thing. I'm all out of arrows.
Those look very hard to grab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But over here looks like
Yeah.
you want these more in place over here.
Yeah. We could get a zoom on some at some point when we're seeing something, maybe like at the bottom of the screen now. That little area. Get a sense for what it looks like.
Roger. Marley, gonna do a partial there?
Sure.
That's great.
What about that little guy in the right below the lasers right now?
Oh yeah, that little nub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be a good candidate. It's hard to tell. I feel like all of these are actually very, very connected.
Yeah.
That little guy looks maybe not connected though.
Little guy.
We just went over it.
Upper right? Oh,
Yeah.
bottom right.
What about to the right of the lasers?
This nub here.
Okay.
Yeah. Any of those nubs?
Maybe. We can
Go
try it
for
out. Marley, want to come full wide, please?
Wow, yeah. It's pretty crazy, these botryoidal textures. They're so uniform, too.
Yeah.
It's pretty striking.
Yeah, this is a really cool landscape. I'm digging it.
Me too. I'm excited for the transition of what we're going to be seeing on the way up.
Oh,
Hopefully the
right.
corals are digging it.
The coral, yeah, I'm sure.
Says our coral biologist watch lead, looking at a bunch of sediment and rocks.
Like, where's my corals?
Blue water.
I need them.
So speaking of, like, so we're not seeing a lot of like corals so far.
Yeah, I mean, we just got here.
That's true.
We're also we're also pretty deep still, so
Yeah.
we've noticed that there's not like a huge abundance of them at these depths, around like 2,500, 3,000. But maybe as we go up, as we get above 2,000, there's sometimes higher abundance. We're also like a couple dives ago, we had pretty dense, like hard coral communities, and I think we're going to be a little too deep to see so much of that on this dive, but we'll see. I could be proven wrong. Corals like to do that.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of like when we say we're collecting baseline data, like this is what we mean.
Right.
We're still figuring out sort of where these
Just floating.
species occur and
Yeah.
what abundance and at what depths.
Definitely. It'll also be interesting because we're now
off
like
autos.
quite a bit north of the equator, and like
Oh,
before we
yeah.
were right around the equator. So to see if we see differences in community or abundance, just
Right.
as we go north, we tend to see a bit more abundance in corals versus on the equator itself. So yeah, it'll be a nice. This will be a nice stepping stone, essentially, between our southern
up.
sites and our more northern sites.
Why is that? Is that a temperature thing or a current thing?
I think it's a current thing, really. I don't really know for sure, and I think that's so. My lab mate Steve Oskovich at Temple is working on a lot of this coral distribution in the Pacific, and that's just something he's noticed, and that people have noticed over the years. So I think that's one of the main questions is really like why.
Wow.
I think a lot of it is current driven, though.
Which would make sense for filter feeders.
Yeah,
They would be
totally.
current.
Well, and like things that dispersal for larvae.
rock.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a pretty big rock.
Yeah, they're not walking around.
No, they're not.
That looks very solid. Yeah. It's gonna move Herc.
Oh, hey.
That one's out of place.
Yeah.
Is that too out of place for
It
you?
doesn't seem very grapey.
Yeah, it looked a little. I want something that has this crazy grapey texture we're looking at now. That didn't look so perfect. Doesn't really need to be in place, but something representative of what we're seeing is most ideal.
Marley, you want to do a quick partial zoom there, please? That's good.
What about that one up
Yeah.
just below the claw?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
Above the claw, this one here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that one's grapey either.
I would want to look at it if you pick it up.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that one is one big grape.
We call those
Jumbo
nodules.
Yeah.
Also be very interesting,
We have a
but
name for this.
But that doesn't look like that.
yeah, does not look like.
If it were that, we would be very excited.
Yeah. Are you on your nodule hunting?
Well, I would just be excited to see it. I've never seen a full-grown nod.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're hard to find. Even
Seem-
harder to sample.
Indeed.
Push it more my nose. There we go.
It's like a little bowling ball.
I'll turn on your porch light.
Roger. Marley, go ahead and come a little wide there, please. That rocks. Thanks.
I love that other one we touched got turned over, so now it gets a chance
Mm-hmm.
to get
Oh,
its
yeah.
grapes on.
To get its grapes on.
All right, go ahead, Marlene, push on in there.
In a million years.
In a million years,
We'll come
yeah.
back. It'll be graped out. Can we get a rotation?
Yeah. Trying to see if I can get you some scaling lasers, but
Yeah, it's okay.
doesn't look terribly.
No,
Grapey.
I think we
Juicy.
should abandon this young cobble.
Roger.
It looks a little bit grapey, but
Not
yeah.
near as pronounced
Yeah.
as the.
So put them back.
Yeah,
Put that
and it
back.
looks like the kind of thing that would have easily rolled down here. Oh, it's a nice like bocce ball.
It's true.
It is very
Um,
round.
What about these? Look like they're going to be in place.
Probably.
Not that.
What about the one behind it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Or that little one in the shadow.
Yeah,
Oh,
where,
yeah.
where
Yeah,
your
that's
wrist
a good
is.
point. You want to come a little wider there, Marley?
Yeah.
That's good. I just want to see the rest of my arm. That one, no. You're saying this in here. Stand by.
If we do see something that looks like it'll move, once we know it's going to move, don't move it yet, and let's get a zoom before you pick it up.
Roger. I can tap on it.
Doesn't seem quite movie.
No.
We could keep looking around here.
Oh.
Oh.
Is that movement or is
I
that
think
shadow?
was shadow.
Yeah. We could keep scoping around. This might be a little bit of a solid little patch.
Yeah. Roger. Go ahead and come full wide, Marley. Oops, sorry.
So Steve's joined us in the chat, and
Morning, Steve.
Morning, Steve.
and for the question about like the communities, the difference between here and Howland and Baker, or the more northern sites in Howland and Baker, he says his going hypothesis is that the upper bathyal deepwater communities on the equator, are strongly influenced by across Pacific currents, so equatorial countercurrent, and the north-south equatorial currents, and the deeper communities are influenced, or communities deeper than 1,000 are influenced by south and north moving deep water masses, but it's just preliminary musings at this point.
What about over here, Megan? There's like
Yeah.
a patch of kind of sandy.
Yeah, that looks good.
There's a mushroom coral up there, Anthomastus.
Something in place is or close to in place is good, but really something with similar botryoidal textures that we're seeing is more important.
What about this one to the right, kind of in the middle of that sand patch?
Yeah, sure. Let's get a zoom.
You want to zoom or want me to poke it?
I guess poke it and then zoom if it moves.
Roger. You want to come full wide there, Marley?
Good science.
Poke it with a 3,000 meter stick.
Also, these in front of the porch might also work too.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, I'm going to have to restart the USBL.
Roger.
Copy that. Restarting USBL.
Any preference on which one I'd poke first?
How about the one to the left, kind of in the middle?
This one here?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, Marley, you want to push in a little bit there, please? That's great there. Thank you. Okay. Digging myself a little hole.
That looks very hard.
Looks-
What about the one to the left of that? It's kind of poking up a little bit more.
Little knobby guy.
Yeah. Oh, okay, wait, let's get a little zoom on that guy.
Roger.
Very nice.
Stand by, Mari.
That looks like a great, great rock.
A grapey great rock.
All right.
A
Go
great
ahead.
grapey rock.
One might call it wine.
We
It
only
was well
wish.
fermented and aged with time.
Yeah, millions of years.
It's a good vintage.
Fine vintage.
Look how fine that sand is too. You can
Oh,
tell
man.
by the
Indeed.
way it's.
It's kind of creating this
Flowing.
glow
Yeah.
around the rock, kind of being like, oh, here's the rock. Yes,
You
I
know,
like it.
you love rocks.
That's
That looks great.
That's
Thank
full
you.
zoom.
Yeah,
So.
no, that's great.
All right. You guys got your pictures?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Marley.
Data, do you know what sample number this is?
I do. It would be bad if I didn't, wouldn't it?
It's not a test.
It's 90. 90. Yeah.
Oh,
but it would be
man.
bad if you didn't know. Though.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
Don't want to jinx us, but we'll probably break 100 samples on this dive.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
What, where are we going with this?
Well, I wish we would go in one of our fun new boxes, but I think we should go for a little box. What do you think?
Probably a little box.
Yeah, little box is
Say
cute.
little box. Push it in my jaws a bit more.
Shake it off.
Shake it up.
Classic.
All right, Marley, go ahead and push it in there, please.
Ooh, got
Got
some.
yeah, oxidation on the back
Yeah.
end.
It's a good looking chunk of basalt.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, I've got your cameras set up,
Roger.
and when you're ready, I'll switch you over.
I'm ready. Go ahead. Let's see how we do on the tape.
That's definitely way better than it was, but I could use more tape.
Yeah, it's a lot better though. Yeah, you're right.
You look solid in D from my perspective.
Same. There she goes.
Nice.
All
Great.
right.
Thank you so much.
Sunken D.
First sample of the dive.
Very, very exciting.
Too much.
Thank you.
All right. Now that you're back in the main HD, we're gonna go to normal.
Can I just see
Roger.
the sensors for 1 sec? The
Yeah, sure.
USBL is kind of a,
I have 1499.7.
all right, it's like 6 off. I don't know why the composite of all these things.
Okay, I am 015, so I've got a ways to.
Roger.
We got some catch up to do before we.
Make a ship move.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've got just a little bit of catch up to do before we do the ship move.
Got it. Roger.
It'll take a while for us to experience a ship move, but just in case we need.
Don't want to tug.
Yeah.
Alright, 015.
Your heading is
My heading's kind of pitching around right now. Still 095 to get target.
yeah.
Roger.
Yep. Just I'm trusting
Yeah.
your heading
Thank you.
and Artis' heading more than I'm trusting USBL right now.
Roger. Yeah, it's being a little scatterbrained, isn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, and it's just, it's not clearing properly, and then it lost itself. It's fine.
What's going on?
Yeah, and so we got down to the seafloor about half an hour ago. So, Ben, we also probably want to try and cover at least 500
Roger.
meters.
Yeah, for sure.
If we can do more, that's great.
I'm going to put in 30-meter steps, and
Cool.
when we have a rhythm, I'll bring it up.
Awesome.
Okay.
I feel like this surface has a really great flow too.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah, right? I thought you would like, I figured
All
you'd
right,
like
I'm
this,
gonna
Marley.
switch my head
I was like,
around.
you know what? Marley's really digging this surface right here.
Down. When you get a sec, Greg, would you be
Yeah.
able to give me the
Little
port on bubble,
shrimp.
please?
Little crustacean going by there.
He's just floating upside down.
Well, it's Sunday. It's a lazy
I was
shrimp.
going to say,
Yeah.
he's enjoying his Sunday.
Yep. There's a fish down there too.
Yeah.
You see, I feel like we pretty regularly
Did you want to
see
look at the fish? Do
fish
you need it for
floating by
IDs?
upside down.
Yeah, but if we already passed it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it
Fish.
is.
All right, Marley, go ahead and push on in.
Snailfish.
Yeah, it looks like a snailfish.
Upside down snailfish.
Very strange.
Speaking of upside down fishes.
No, it's right side up.
So those
Wow, look at that.
ophidians, like
Ooh,
eels,
hi.
normal eel?
All right, go and
You
come
know,
on,
we
Marley.
don't know.
Ben,
There
stop.
it is.
Sorry.
All right. And I'm at 045, so we're gonna keep coming around.
Yeah, I'll just see if I get one more quick zoom in here. Go ahead and push on in real quick.
There's a glass sponge too.
Man,
Yeah.
no, I'll just let him do his thing. All right, one more snap zoom so we can get a good ID on him. He looks a little grumpy.
Yeah. Look at that translucent tail and
So
fins.
cool. Those fins are
Yeah,
so
it looked
cool.
weird how it was using the pectoral fins when it was
Yeah.
fast. It looked like pectoral fins in reverse or something.
Yeah.
Go ahead and come right there, Marley. See a fish?
Nice.
That looks more accurate there. The DVL.
Yeah.
Sorry?
All right, I'm on 075.
Roger.
And final move coming to 095.
Roger that.
All right, Ben, we're ready.
We got a question to the pilots. If Herc's thrusters ever have issues with cavitation, is that part of the reason that was the pump was changed out or anything?
It wasn't the reason that the pump was changed out. We don't have a lot of issues with cavitation. The thrusters have a angled thruster shield around them. Also, there's no air. You know, if you run all the thrusters at once, you do notice some shaking in the vehicle, but I wouldn't call that cavitation.
I'm starting to go down slope a bit here.
Yeah, it looks like you might go down slope for like a couple
Do you want
tens
to come
of
down a bit
meters.
there, Greg?
Yep, 33.
We should start heading back up.
Roger. Oh,
And
it's
then it's numbers time. I think that's a fallen coral.
fine.
Yeah,
I
it looks
don't
like
know
a
that
fallen bamboo.
Oh, I
it's
thought
going anywhere. Yeah, I know.
I was looking at these
Coral
little
up
rounded
ahead.
features.
Might be a
thinking they were
sponge,
tires.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
They don't look like it anymore.
I mean, that's cool too.
Yeah.
I dig sponges.
Sponges are, I was going
You
to
want to
say.
see the sponge or you want to see
something.
the fallen coral?
Let's go to the sponge.
We're gonna
Oh,
see
so
some
I just
current
get it from a
movement
distance.
here in that sediment too.
Yeah, this is really fine sand.
Mm-hmm.
I think more fine than what we've been seeing on what we saw at Howland and Baker.
All right, this is the end of my scope, so I'll do a farther away zoom here. Go ahead there, Marley. Push on in.
I'm going to call it. It's a sponge.
Sponge looking tire.
Best part about Watch is I have a captive audience.
Yeah. So these sponges will typically like face into the current since they're filtered.
Yeah,
so we can
probably.
Sort of intuit the current might be coming towards that cup face.
Yeah. But there's a bunch of little invertebrates living inside that sponge too.
Oh gosh, I wish I want to see them.
The base of it's pretty
Holy,
neat too.
oh gosh.
That makes me real excited. That's so cool.
It's interesting the base is like a different color, that
It
very
is.
bottom
Yeah.
part. I wonder if
It's
it's
strong.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like a speaker for like an old turntable.
Like a
What do they
gramophone?
call gramophone? Yeah.
Gramophone.
Amplifies
My
ocean
grandma has one of
sounds.
those too.
It's very
That's why it's
asymmetrical.
called a
though.
gramophone.
Yeah. When I call her up, it's
Yeah, see all
her
the little
speakerphone.
like pink
Oh, yeah.
dots? Those are
Uh-huh.
definitely something.
Things
Something.
living on or inside that sponge.
Yeah.
Snacks.
Snacks.
Snacks on snacks on snacks.
Maybe not snacks.
Maybe not snacks. Freckles.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool to see all
Nice
the
sponge.
This-
texture.
One of my favorite things out here is when we're coming across something, whether it's a coral or a sponge or some sort of larger, organism, and how you get all these associates living around it or inside it.
Right.
So
Okay, Marley,
neat.
go ahead and come right there, please.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Look at this boundary we're coming up on in Argus.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Transitioning.
Argus. Is that snailfish following us?
Yes.
Snailfish is coming for us.
Run away.
I was reading about snailfish since we see them quite often.
Yeah.
And the family that they're in, which is, I believe, pronounced Liparidae, they're found throughout the world's ocean, ranging from shallow to depths greater than 8,000 meters. And they have a wider depth range than any other fish family, which is really cool.
The best thing about them?
What's the best thing about them?
They were found down in the Marianas
Oh
Trench.
yeah, the deepest fish ever observed is a snailfish
Yeah.
in the Marianas Trench.
It's pretty metal.
It's pretty what?
Pretty metal.
Metal.
But they are strictly found in cold water, so any species that are found in tropical or subtropical regions are strictly in the deep water.
Interesting.
And they're common in most cold marine waters and are highly resilient, with some species having antifreeze proteins, which is really crazy.
I mean, that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
What do you think these are? All little snails?
Or little
Oh.
bits of rock.
Bits of rock?
Let's take a zoom.
Yeah, I'll get us some more light on it. All right, Marley, go ahead and push out in there a bit, please. They look like all little rock pieces, huh?
Oh.
Sorry for the bounciness.
You're not on SPL.
Do we think it's broken little bits of rock, or is it just exposed bits underneath?
I think it's exposed bits.
Okay.
Really?
But I'm not sure. We could poke it. It's a good way to check.
Good scientific method.
I would be surprised if it wasn't though.
Marley, you want to come light for
Yeah,
a minute
come
there,
out.
please? I
My
think I'm
money's
giving
on
a
little
tug.
bits.
Little
Yeah,
bits.
I'm going. I'm betting on bits too.
Yeah, the way it's sort of like, the way it's sorting itself with the
Yeah, but
current.
couldn't it be? That could be indicative of both, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, my money's on little bits.
Okay, we have to poke it now.
It could be either. We don't know, but we're gonna check.
Yeah.
So am I going to poke these?
Yeah, poke it.
Poke away.
See if it moves.
We need an acronym for that scientific.
It does
process
look.
now.
It's
Poke it if it moves.
confusing because I agree with you. It looks like little bits, but I
That
don't
is
know.
this name. Scientific name. Poke it
Little
with a stick.
bits. Wonder what that brownish stuff is. That's like, we're pushing it away. It's like detritus of some
bio little bits.
Bio bits.
bio bits.
Bio bits.
We haven't seen that though. We haven't seen like collective
Microbits. Megabits.
megabits, macro bits.
We don't have too many megabits out here.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth.
Oh my
Those,
god.
those
my
seem like they're
God.
Little
really
bits?
top.
Can
Little
you
bits.
can
Dig
you zoom
into-
in so we
I
can see?
Yeah, I'd also try digging into one of the upper ridges to see if there are any rocks underneath.
Yeah.
Like just do a big grab through one of the.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pieces of
Sandy
sand.
bits.
Little bits on the
The
left
sandy
look
bits, you
very
mean?
clearly.
Bits.
Bits. Status.
That is strange though. What? That thing's
Oh,
like moving.
Yeah, is that a worm?
Yeah.
It looks like a worm.
Yeah.
Dancing worm.
Oh, I see.
Are
Yeah.
you seeing this?
Pretty funky worm.
Yeah, I
Maybe
don't.
it's all just sand.
I think it's
How
sand.
how far can you go into the
It's
sediment?
just sorting.
Right.
up to the wrist.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, stand by,
called
Mark.
it.
Good job,
Okay,
Holly.
Holly.
Not a competition,
I'm kidding.
but
Well, I
we
mean,
but we
here
beat
it
the
gets
geology.
Grand
Right.
prize.
Yeah, so a couple inches.
Okay. Great. Wow. That's
Science
That is a lot of
enthusiast has to get a
sand.
couple of points here.
Ooh, I bet that means there's lots of carbonate at the top.
indeed, and it's very, very fine.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you're right. That is
It's
so
fine.
exciting.
All right, you
This is
guys
gonna be a
happy
good
with
dive,
those?
y'all.
Yeah, thanks, Jess.
Wow. Actually, Jess, would it be possible to get
Oh.
a zoom on the larger little bits to the left of the screen?
Sure. I'm going to stow my arm and then
Yep.
bits on the top left.
So how many centimeters do you think that sediment was deep? You said it went up to the wrist?
Up to the wrist, yeah.
And
I think we hit probably at the third bolt on the coral cutters.
yeah.
So 5 or 6 inches.
Okay.
What was it that you wanted to zoom in on over here?
Just the textures on some of the larger bits.
Roger. Go ahead, Marla.
So we're not looking at the bitty bits or the itty
No.
bitty bits. We're looking at just the bits.
The bits. The big bits.
So this one kind of center screen now, is that?
Sure.
Oh, it's a barnacle too.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool.
Oh,
Look at all,
great.
they're very botryoidal bits.
Botryoidal bits.
Fat bits.
And there's a gooseneck barnacle right at the top of the
There
screen.
it is. Wow.
Any other pieces you want to see?
No, that's great. We can keep.
And there's a little
Scooting on.
ophroid. Boop.
Whoops, sorry.
All right, Jess, I am playing catch
Oh,
up.
that's a very
Roger.
strange,
Oh,
You got any more zoom?
Yeah.
very coney top on that.
Are you full zoom in there, Marley? Or you can zoom
Yeah,
in
I'm
more
on
if you want.
full zoom. I'm just trying to focus on something that's exactly the same color as the sand.
You're doing great.
It looks great. It's a weird creature.
Yeah, it is.
It's not even showing up in your cheat screen.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool.
That's good. Thank you.
Awesome.
What use is a cheat screen if it doesn't work?
Yeah, it's really hard when things are the exact same color and texture. It's okay though.
Camouflage.
yeah, that means he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Actually, would it be possible to do one more thing while we're here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Can we, on the largest bit you see in that little pile at the middle base of the screen, can you just poke one of the bits to see if there's botryoidal textures on the bottom of the bit?
Sure.
So pick it up and see if it's.
Yeah, we don't need to sample it. I just want to see if, yeah, I would like to just see what's on the bottom. If it's, basically I'm curious how long ago these were placed. And if it looks like there's significant botryoidal textures on the top and not on the bottom, then they've been sitting here a long time.
All right, Marley, go ahead and push on in there a bit. That rocks.
So any of those large ones that we can see the clear grape textures would be good.
All right. You want me to look at him before I take it?
I think we can
any
see
of those
it,
will
yeah.
work, yeah.
Just
I might go through my fingers. Negative.
Yeah, you're having to get it between just 2 fingers. It was small enough it went right through the larger interlocking jaws.
No. That's a good point. That's good, Marley.
Nice
Nice.
pick.
very nicely
Oh,
done.
Excellent.
Incredible.
It looks bumpy on the bottom.
It's like a little meatball.
A little blackberry.
Like a golf ball almost.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Riley, you want to blow it out a little bit so we can get the detail
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the... Yeah, it looks bumpy on the bottom, Megan.
It does. The whole thing looks bumpy, doesn't it? Okay, cool. All right, good to know. And you know, you can see almost like in the sediment. Actually, I'll wait till we zoom out.
Ooh, yeah, look at that bump.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
All right, Jess, time to start
And
moving.
it's even,
I
which
know.
means that it's
Come on,
moving
Marley.
a
Yeah,
lot, right?
and-
Regularly.
Yeah, I'm very excited and want to sample it, but I think we shouldn't because we just got a sample. But that's very cool. That was great imagery. Thanks for doing that.
That was fun. And then what was the last thing you wanted to do before we take off?
No, that's okay. We can just get moving.
Roger.
I was just gonna say it looked like Oh yeah, okay, that's true. Let's maybe go a little bit further and then maybe collect. I feel like we got some really good imagery on that one, so let's go a little bit further and maybe collect a different one when we get further through this
Copy
field.
that. All right, Ben, why don't you hold ship position, because I'll swing for a bit.
Got it, yep.
Wow, look at the Argus view. That's
Whoa, yeah.
pretty crazy.
It's really interesting to look at because, like, visually it looks so much like desert environments, the way that the currents are sorting things and sorting the sediment. It's like dune formation.
Yeah, it is.
It's really neat.
Also, like, what's breaking these off in such small pieces?
I mean, when you think about what this feature has gone through in terms of erosional processes, like I can only imagine like erosion taking place on all sides of this this feature, and why it's so evenly formed like that, I don't totally know, but partly it's just very well sorted. So these smaller pieces are moving in a similar way, and the larger pieces are probably falling somewhere else or something like that. But it seems fairly flat here, so it is kind of interesting that it's so evenly placed.
Yeah.
I like the symmetry of little basalt pieces kind of highlighting ripples, and on the flip side, sediment highlighting the little grape textures when we're looking at lava flows.
Megan, would this go in a different box?
Did you say would this go in a different box? I mean, yeah, I think we could put it in a different box. It could go, I guess, in the same one. They're pretty easy to tell apart, but while we still have different boxes. This looks like a pretty wide expanse of bits.
Yeah, it does.
There's certainly no shortage.
It is so wild because it really does remind you so much of different types of sedimentary rocks that are either dune formation or were undercurrent of some sort or underflow.
Find one you think is grabbable.
Patterns.
Just curious what this is over here.
Just a couple bigger pieces, maybe.
Oh, some bigger chunks.
We don't want these though, right? We always want the small little itty bitty guys.
Megan, we don't want these, right? We want the smaller ones.
Yeah. Let's take a look at these though.
Okay. Alright, Marley, go ahead and do a partial in there.
So the idea of sorting, it's making sense that we're starting to see some larger pieces. We're kind of coming up closer to the steeper slope that we're going to start coming up.
What's that different chunk?
Yeah. Should we poke it?
Perform tactical poke.
I will say at the rate of poking, we're not going to make our 500
Okay,
meters.
all right, let's keep going.
Yeah, we're about 200 meters right now.
Yeah.